Hey, my name's Rob Noy, and you're listening to the CrossAxe Method podcast. This is where our team and I talk everything health, including training, nutrition, and many other topics. So kick back, grab a coffee, and enjoy the show.
Hello everybody, welcome back to the CrossAxe Method podcasts. We are here again. We're on a roll now. I think we are up to episode 46, but in terms of consistency, I think we're up to number 4 or 5 now.
Nice.
Yeah.
We nearly got derailed, but
that's right. We didn't let that happen.
No, made it.
I'm obviously here with Rob. Hello, Rob. Happy Tuesday.
G'day.
We've got a bit of an educational podcast to throw your way today. So we're going to be talking about a few different topics, including some roles and responsibilities of a coach, and then sort of moving into boundaries there and client confidentiality conversation, which ties into member experience. And then we're going to talk a little bit about the value of time and how we look at that, and a few bits and pieces around the PT and fitness industry in general. Sound all right?
I'm excited.
Cool. So we're going to kick off with the roles and sort of responsibilities and expectations of a coach. How would you explain that?
So I guess we need to probably break it down into when and what they're coaching. So if it's a coach for a class versus a personal training session versus nutrition coaching, or I don't know what other sort of coaching there is, but whatever. And the more broadly, the roles for a coach for coaching a class, which is what most people are going to fall into that are listening to this. We can really sum it up quickly, and their job's to educate, inspire, and entertain. And so to break those down, we need to educate people on how to move well. There'll also be some very fundamental nutrition education that you might provide during a class. Eat this, do this. Maybe you don't eat burgers all the time. And then, when we look at something like Inspire, that's not, having Tia Claire Toomey run a class. She's inspirational because she's the fittest woman on earth. It's more about getting people excited about training, getting them moving well, inspiring them to try a pull-up or try a jumping bar muscle-up, or just try something, get upside down when they're not feeling like they can get upside down. Those sorts of things. And then entertain's really simple. It's got to be fun. We really want everyone in here having a good time. If you're having a good time when you come to the gym, you make that association. You're going to want to do it more, and you're going to get fitter and healthier. So that's broadly speaking the roles of a coach. If we really break it down into how we assess ourselves and each other, and we talk about, knowledge, we talk about attitude, we talk about presence, we talk about coaching acumen, so seeing, correcting, and teaching, or teaching, seeing, correcting, demonstrating good movement. All of those things are kind of like the fundamentals of what a coach needs to be able to do. So we need to be able to, clearly clarify the programming that's been written for the gym. So clearly have everyone in the class understand what the expectation is, why we're doing what we're doing, and also then implementing that to best suit each and every athlete that's in that class. So if it's a big group, broader scaling options for different people. And then I guess on the sliding scale, that's where sort of personal training comes in. Your group fitness is group. You're obviously in a group. You're going to get less time and attention. And then when you're doing personal training, it's the job of that personal trainer to very accurately tailor the training to that absolute individual level. So, taking into account all of the considerations and planning the training around that specific individual, rather than taking a group general physical preparedness program and applying it to a lot of people.
Yep. Gotcha.
So that's kind of the roles within the class, I guess, or within their coaching role. And then depending who and what the coach is, there's a requirement for cleaning the toilets, scrubbing the floor, repairing equipment, making sure, the place is tidy, making sure we've got enough sanitizer in the spray bottles, making sure, all of those things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, just the general housekeeping. Very important. I feel like Dale's just always the battery guy. Thanks, Dale.
Yeah. So, replacing batteries, just, all of those things you might not think about that, is it's part of our job.
Yeah.
Like it's really easy for people to sort of come in and you get to see us for 1 hour of a day. Mm-hmm. And during that hour, if we're doing our job well, we're having fun. You guys are having fun. It's a really good time, and you're getting a lot out of that session. And then what you don't see is the down. So you guys, trundle off to your morning coffee, and I say this in jest, by the way, but this is what in my head sometimes what I'm imagining you guys doing. On the flip side, is going home to a nice cooked bacon and egg breakfast, trundle off for a coffee and enjoy your morning, right? I know that's not the case, and many people are rushing off to work. So, but on the flip side, as soon as that time finishes, most of the coach's responsibility is continuing, and that's jumping up, and that's, cleaning the water cooler, that's cleaning the bathrooms, making sure the bins are empty. All of that stuff falls under the role of a coach here specifically.
Yep.
And, that allows, by doing that allows us to stay open all day as well, giving those coaches extra responsibilities. Most CrossFit gyms don't open all day. They're open for a period of time. They might have some open gym between classes, but for the majority of the day, they're actually closed. So our coaches might have a little bit more responsibility in terms of that than you might see in a normal CrossFit gym, where you have coaches that might have zero responsibility outside the class. But to go along with that, they get paid for the time they're there, and that's it.
Yeah.
So there's no, yeah.
Yeah, we're really lucky, and I know this from being a member before I took on the gig, that we're just so lucky to have open gym and a staffed gym all day. It's just awesome.
Yeah, cool.
And so a little bit on that, is there anything you look for when you do hire your coaches in terms of character or experience? What is it that you look for?
Yeah, so it was always, and I don't know if this is unique to our industry. You would be able to tell me more, I guess, probably as well, just from the experiences you've had away from here. But it's always been higher on skill set. So what can you do? What are you certified to do? Basically, what certificates do you have? What knowledge can you bring? And while that's great and it's necessary, it generally doesn't lead to the most successful outcome all the time. So what we sort of switched to a couple of years ago is hiring on character. So are you a hard worker? Are you prepared to grind it out? Are you demonstrating that in a given workout you're pushing as hard as you can, but you're staying within good movement practices? Are you demonstrating our beliefs with CrossFit? Are you holding yourself accountable to all the repetitions, to all the movements? All of those types of things. And are you happy? Are you a positive person? Some people, unfortunately, have a negative mindset or are battling certain demons, and they don't have that natural positivity in them. And unfortunately, that's going to show up. And, we can very easily change the mood of a class depending on the coach's mood. So, we need to be mindful in the long term of what we're trying to achieve. And generally speaking, we want positivity. We want people with a great outlook that's going to rub off on the members.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We definitely can set the tone in here, which I guess takes us to the next point of it's very easy to sort of foster some friendships in here, especially when you're in the PT industry or a coach in general. So let's chat a little bit about the boundaries there that we need to put in place as a coach and what we're here to do for the members and where that information then goes.
I love the 16 questions in one. Go.
It's all just the one... You know what I mean. Discussion point.
Yeah.
And for the record, we spoke about this before the podcast. So
yeah, that's right. All right. So
boundaries
let's break that down.
And client confidentiality.
Yeah, brand boundaries. All right. So when I was doing PT long before CrossFit, I used to, and this is me, right? So this is not a great indication of the broader industry.
Yeah.
I made it very clear to my clients that there was no communication, or not so much communication, there was no connection beyond our sessions. And the main reason for that was twofold. One, I didn't have a lot of time because I was a fiery pretty much the whole time I was doing PT. And two, I wanted my clients to come to me to get results, not to pay for a friendship. And while that sounds maybe a bit harsh, you know, I didn't want anyone to feel like they owed me anything other than the service, other than the money that they were paying for the service I was providing.
Yeah.
And at the point that I couldn't provide the service that they needed, I didn't want to see them anymore. So if someone felt like I wasn't delivering them the results that they wanted, then don't just keep paying me just because you felt bad. And that's one of the biggest things, you know, like you see these articles in magazines and online. How do you break up with your personal trainer? It's like, just tell me. If, like, I didn't want to get anyone into that situation where they felt bad for leaving me because I wasn't getting the results for them that they wanted. So that's how I kind of was for the longest time. And then when CrossFit came about, that almost forced a change in myself in terms of like, right, this community aspect is really important, and having people rely on each other is really important. And therefore, that's automatically going to lead to learning personal information about people. So 10, 11 years later, most of my closest friends now are within the gym. Mm-hmm. I'd like to believe, though, that those people would be honest enough with me that if they ever felt they needed to leave the gym for whatever reason, that they would. They don't feel obliged to keep coming because they feel like they want to pay for the friendship. So that's kind of the background, I guess. And what happens is you develop these friendships within the gym. And it's, you know, personally, it's quite tough. And Alex and I have this conversation quite a lot. Like, we're fortunate that we get invited to many events within the gym, just friends and different groups of people. And it's great that all these groups of friends form. I don't think there's any serious cliques where anyone's being, purposefully left out of a group. I just think people find other like-minded people, similar age, similar sort of position in their life, and they click and hang out, and that's cool. But yeah, we get invited to things, and it's hard then if we want to go and have a dinner and invite some people from the gym. It's like, shit, where do we draw this line? Yeah. Like, we can't invite 300 people. So, you know, that kind of thing gets tough, and it still exists. But all in all, that's a very small negative for a very big positive of having an amazing group of people as friends and in our community. So flipping it back to the coach's position on that, part of our job and where lines get blurred, and this is even more so with personal training, is that you form very intimate relationships with the clients and members. So where then do you sort of draw the line on, I guess, that information? And in short, you can't, if someone, one of our members really needs to open up and talk to us about whatever they got going on in their personal life, whether they're, I don't even want to say, I don't even want to give an example, because there's probably people going through stuff that I'm unaware of, and if I don't want to hit a nerve and trigger anyone, but say you're going through something shitty, and you just need to unload, and you want to talk to us about that, that's fine. But we also need to, I guess what we do as coaches, and what I try and establish, I guess, with all of our coaching team and staff, is that our rule on confidentiality is much like a doctor's rule, right? So if my wife goes to the doctor and talks to them about something, I can't ring up and say, hey, what did my wife talk to you about? They'll go, that's, client confidentiality. We can't give you that information. I'm sorry. And so we run that same process here. If a member says something to us, it goes no further. That's them confiding in us, and unless it has a personal effect, unless it has a effect on that member directly that the other coaches need to know about. Let's say it's a pregnancy or an injury or an ailment or a health issue that's going to be affected by the other coaches not knowing it. So, hey, the coaches don't know that someone's pregnant and we're doing Murph and it's New Year's Day and it's 40 degrees outside and we go, hey, yep, you're good, go. You can do Murph, that's fine. And you're going to cook that person and cause them some serious harm. So unless it's something that the coaches need to know about, it doesn't get spoken about.
Yeah.
And if another member was to approach our coaching staff about, hey, what's the go with ... or this person, basically the answer is if you want to talk to that person about that, then you need to go and talk to that person about that. We can't divulge any information. And then I guess on the flip side is that going back to us providing our members and clients with the best hour of their day, you know, we could be having a real shit time. And we're people just like everyone else, and we have issues and, you know, we get tired and all of those sorts of things. But essentially the show must go on. Mm-hmm. So it's not our members' job to be our, you know, drum to bash or however you want to put it, our people to lean on, our psychiatrists to divulge our personal problems with, because no matter what, that's going to bring their experience down. So, you know, it's our job as coaches to almost get you guys through a class without you having a clue that we're not having the best day of our life, you know. And there's going to be times where you're not, and it may be a subpar performance, for want of a better term, but it's not for us to divulge information onto our clients that they, you know, don't need to hear, basically. Yeah. Because there's a potential for them to, you know, feel worse and feel bad, and they got their own problems to deal with. Yeah. So, you know, most people come to the gym to escape, you know, their daily grind or stresses or whatever it might be, and we don't want to add our stresses to them and make their day worse. Yeah. Yeah.
Amazing.
What's your thoughts on that?
I agree with that. Yep. Yeah. I mean, I'm a bit of a listener anyway, rather than a sharer. But I think definitely when we're wearing the coach's shirt, it is nice to be able to listen to whatever anybody has going on. But I completely agree. We're here to provide a service, so we need to remain professional. But I've always sort of implemented a bit of a boundary in any role that I've had with any team that I work with. Yeah, cool. Or clients and customers that we have. So, yeah, member experience, all for it.
Awesome.
I agree. So
actually, before we go on, I also don't want to. I don't want to come across as like, as a coach, we can't have friendships with the members, because that's definitely not the case. Like, in fact, it's probably part of the job to be friends. And if outside of having your CrossAxe coaching shirt on and outside of our facilities, you get into a personal discussion with your friend that happens to be a member, hey, cool, like that's your life. I'm not telling people what to say and do and think. Yep. But we've got a job to do when we're here. Yep. And yeah.
I think that's self-explanatory. It makes sense. Cool. And I think that most members will be on board with that, but definitely come and chat. If not,
if
absolutely. You have any thoughts around that?
Yeah,
but I'm with you. So in terms of time then, let's sort of merge a little bit into that conversation of obviously we're here and you've spoken a little bit about the expectations on the coaching staff when we are here. How would you look at valuing our time when it comes to PT? Because we've recently sort of introduced new packages, and so looking at how we value our time has been a big part of that conversation and a big part of introducing those packages.
Yeah. So it is a little bit difficult, right? Because the coaches are kind of hanging around chatting after training, and that's part of their job, forming customer relations and keeping everyone happy. You know, that's what we want to do. We want to make people better and healthier and happier. So that's part of the job. But there's also a little bit of a line there where it goes from having a general chat to divulging into a personal conversation, or then even going into a coaching role where it's like, we'll give you some advice. But the coaches generally, if they're on shift one, have other priorities, so other jobs that they need to do for our business to function well. And 2, you're then starting to request information from them that is, I guess, their information to decide whether they want to share that or not and what that information is worth. So I don't want this to come across as don't ask the coaches anything. That's definitely not what I'm saying. We're more than happy to give everyone helpful hints and tips and watch some reps and all of those sorts of things. Hey, we had we had a hang dumbbell snatch in the workout, or a dumbbell hang snatch in the workout. I don't feel like I was doing it right. Can you watch a couple of reps? Sure, go for it. Oh no, try this, and this. Oh, that feels better. Great, cool, we fixed the problem. There's a difference between that and, hey, I'd really like to undertake a 3-month in-depth Olympic weightlifting program. Can you just tell me what to do?
That's right.
Okay, then we're starting to get into a pretty onerous position of what we're asking. And that's fine. Definitely still ask the question. And then it's our coach's job to say, yeah, we can write a program up for you. It's going to cost X, Y, Z, and it's because it's going to take this much of my time. So before we sort of go any further, like one of my goals is to provide careers for coaches long term. And so to do that, obviously those coaches need to bring income into the business so the business can then pay for their wages, essentially. And then also their development to work through so that they've got a career when they're 40, 50, 60. Whereas at the moment, I was doing some research today just before the podcast, and 90% of personal trainers that do a certificate 4 are out of the industry within 6 months. So that's a horrendous figure, right? So imagine the amount of people that are doing their Cert 4 in fitness and aren't actually coaching PT because there's a few reasons. 1, they couldn't make enough money. 2, the realization that, they have to get up at 4:30 every single morning and more than likely work every single night. And then, so there's that reality check, and the expectation. And then there's also a large sales role that they need to undertake themselves, because if you're not selling yourself, you're not going to get clients book. And then, it's a very stressful sort of situation. The average wage for a personal trainer, which was absolutely mind-blowing to me, is $42,000 a year. So, while personal training, the service is expensive, especially if you're paying someone with experience and a lot of qualifications, it's very easy to do the quick, you're earning this much per hour, but how many hours have they put into study to get there? How much time did they put into that session before you arrived? Mm-hmm. How many other sessions are they able to actually book like that in a week? So, there's a large number of factors that go into, I guess, pricing. And, part of the problem, and I've been there myself, is as a personal trainer, you start undervaluing your service. So a lot of PTs have a second job because they want to be able to maintain a certain lifestyle. So they do some PT, then they do something else on the side. And then before they know it, they get sick of people cancelling on a Sunday night. They're sick of being on the phone trying to book their week out. And then all of a sudden they just go, I'll just do this other job full time because it's so much easier and it's not worth the stress. Which is really sad. Yeah. Right? I know there's a lot in that, depending on who you are, what experience you have, how you carry yourself, how you sell yourself, how you conduct yourself. But at the end of the day, it's a pretty tragic figure that, only 10% make it through to a career or to longer than 6 months. I don't know what the figures are after that. But it's a very small amount of people that do the qualification that actually stick with it. And so as part of that, for us to be able to create these positions for coaches and give them some foresight into, hey, you can still do this in your 40s and 50s and 60s if you want, and you can get paid well for it, But to do that, we need to also then charge the right amount for it. Because let's say, we're paying Dale to do some PT here. It's not just that 1 hour that we're paying Dale for. We're paying for the years of expensive equipment, the rent, insurance, Dale's time, taxes. It's pretty endless. So to actually make the PT session profitable, it can't be cheap, because otherwise what happens is, and we've done this with multiple programs over the years and people would have seen it. So say we run a specialty mobility class and it costs X amount of sessions, X amount per session, and then we're paying the trainer, say the trainer's getting paid $30 for the hour, and we go, oh yeah, it's, if we get 20 people paying $5, great, that's $100. We'll make we'll be able to cover our costs, right? But what happens is we might get $100 for the first session, and then the subsequent weeks, as that appeal drops or whatever happens, and we end up with 3 people at a session paying $5, and yet we're paying the trainer $30. It doesn't take a rocket science to figure out that we're now paying people, we're paying our members to do mobility. So they're almost professional athletes now, because
sponsored. They're
sponsored athletes because we're not there's no income there. So, someone once said to me, passion's great, but passion without profit is not going to last. Like a business has to make money to keep the doors open. And while that sounds, cut and dry, we want to provide the best service we can at the right price, for sure, 100%. But it's true. Like if we don't make any money, then the door's shut, essentially, and that's kind of sad. But it's what we have to do. But we believe the service we provide is absolutely worth what we charge, and we're I honestly believe we're pretty damn well priced, especially with our group classes, for sure.
Yep.
The coaching you get here, and I've seen other CrossFit gyms and I've seen other functional fitness facilities and what they offer. And the coaching you get here is far beyond anything you'll get at most other facilities. And our weekly rate is less than nearly every other facility around. So, that is what it is. And when we look at, I guess, looping around, talking about how we charge for PT and why it's so expensive, not only is it the expense of, covering costs, like I said, the facility costs and all of that stuff, and the trainer, you're paying for that trainer's experience.
That's right.
So if you look at the educational costs, it doesn't seem like much. You go, oh, well, it's $3,500 for a Cert 4 in fitness. And it's like, yeah, cool, it is. I could fill one of these walls up with the CrossFit certificates I've got, and they're $1,000 US a piece. So that's probably, $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 worth in education. Not to mention, any other external courses, weightlifting and mobility and nutrition. And then added on top of that is any self-study I've done to get better. So, it's not as simple as just going, well, this person got a level 1 CrossFit, it costs them $1,000 US, and now they can charge XYZ. They might be able to do that, but if they haven't got guidance and a very, very good high level of experience, then they're not going to be able to maintain those clients at that rate. You're sort of paying for experience at different levels, and just understanding that there's a massive amount of education that goes into getting coaches to a level where they can provide specialties in different areas. It's not that they just watch YouTube and then, oh, yeah, I saw someone do it on YouTube, I'll see if it works for you. I will definitely make decisions based on information that maybe I picked up something in a CrossFit football seminar, which is an American football, but just the way that maybe they demonstrate movement in a certain plane, or agility drills, or it could be any number of things. And then on the flip side, it might be, hey, this actually works really well with this this coaching that I learned, or this skill I learned in CrossFit gymnastics, or when I was coaching the Australian, doing the certifications for Australian Weightlifting Federation. Maybe I picked up something there that I can add. So there's so many different avenues of learning, and all of that costs money and time. So you're not just paying for that 1 hour or 30 minutes of advice. Sure, you're paying for the level of quality of that advice, I guess, and what's been put into that over X amount of years for that trainer to be able to deliver that service for you and get the results that you want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So that was a very long-winded answer, sorry. But you did ask me 16 questions.
I'll get better. That just reminded me too of, I guess, just a call out about you and how great a mentor you are for the coaches here, and myself included, because you dedicate a lot of time to training the trainers. We spend sort of an hour a week with a staff meeting, whether we're training each other or reading a book, a professional or personal development book. So we're always trying to be our best selves, I suppose. So, yeah.
Thank
coaching
you.
Here. Yeah, thank you. And thanks to Dale, he ran us through a handstand. We got upside down as coaches last week and went through a bit of a gymnastics handstand session. So that was pretty fun.
For sure. So, and again, that leads into it, right? So,
that's right.
It's the guys are, all of our coaching team are dedicated to getting better, and we're spending time fine tuning all of those things every single week. And all of that goes into the consideration of what's this service worth, and what can we get for the client from doing that PT? How can we help them?
That's right. Yeah, love it. And so this might be a bit of a tangent, a bit of a change of direction, but obviously still in the same topic. How do you feel about members accessing you personally when it comes to business matters, and what is the best process for our member?
Yeah, this again is a tough one. There's so many channels of communication, as you know, because basically, to give everyone a bit of a background, as soon as Leah started, I just flicked past everything and said, I don't know how to keep up with Instagram and Facebook. Here you go. Answer all the messages.
Yeah. We do get a fair few.
So messages come in from everywhere, and within those messages we have important messages from you guys in the gym, but out of every for every important message we probably get 10 lots of messages from China trying to sell us MMA shorts.
That's right. I have noticed that.
I don't know what that is, but anyway, with that, all these manufacturers, and they just obviously go to all the sporting companies. Oh, we manufacture boxing gloves, and I'm like, sweet, we don't do boxing. So there's a lot of shit that comes in through there, for one of it. Sorry about the language, but to sort of answer your question, what we would like all of the members to do is use our I guess business channels of communication, which is more often than not email. So any of the gym emails that end in CrossFitCrossX.com, whether that's me personally, which is Rob, you, which is admin, memberships, if it's anything to do with a membership, just send it to memberships@CrossFitCrossX.com. And that way we are at most chance of not missing anything. If I'm lucky enough to be out fishing in my tinny.
Oh, I like that.
And the fish are on the bite, and you send me a message on Messenger saying, hey Rob, I'm going away for 2 weeks, can you pause my membership? And I'm catching a fish, I'm not even looking at that. And chances are if I swipe the notification away, I don't see it. And then you go away for 2 weeks, and then you get disappointed because we didn't pause your membership, and then it creates a rigmarole and tension that's not good for you or us. So the best way to approach it is all through the emails, memberships generally is at the go for the memberships. Even on our website, we have a membership management link. So you can go to that, enter in your name, the dates that you're away, and just hit submit, and that comes through to us, and we'll reply once we've done it and action that for you. and you'll get a confirmation. If you haven't heard from us, also please check your junk mail, because sometimes our confirmations go to junk mail, and then like we process so much stuff on a daily basis that we get these emails in, and then we get a reminder, hey, I was just wondering if you got to my email about my membership pause, because I got, you might not have even been debited again, but you just might be like, hey, did you get to my pause? And we're like, oh, I can't, we can't remember every one.
Yeah.
And then we log in, we go into it, and then we take 10 minutes to sort of figure out what's going on. And the fact of the matter is we actually have done it. It's just we've replied and it's gone to your junk mail.
Yeah.
So just check your junk mail. But certainly if you've tried to get in touch with us and for some reason we haven't responded within sort of 48 to 72 hours, try again, by all means, and shout out to us. But the hard thing with the personal stuff is, the business has changed, which is a good thing. And when you start, or when I started the business, and I assume this happens for a lot of startups, is you do everything, and you take messages at 7 p.m. on Saturday and 9 p.m. on Sunday and 6 a.m. Sunday morning. Whenever that phone goes off, if you want to be successful, you need to take advantage of that inquiry or that member or whatever's going on. Fortunately for me, we've kind of hopefully gotten a little bit past that. So I definitely need time away from the gym now. And I need that for my headspace, and just like any regular job where you go home and you can just tune off from work for a bit and have a weekend away. And as easy as it is just to, I'll just shoot Rob a message on Facebook about my membership, I get those and I'm like, shit, now I've got to deal with that. It just brings me back into the gym. Don't get me wrong, I love the gym, but it brings me back into the gym when I've already been here for 80 hours for the week. And it's like, I just, I would really appreciate just sending the email, because what I do now anyway is just message you back the email address and say, hey, I need it in writing to here, because it'll get lost on my phone. There's between Instagram and Facebook and TikTok, and no, I'm not on TikTok, but
I'm not even on TikTok.
No, I'm not on TikTok. But between all the apps and stuff on the phone, and it just gets lost, and then you're going to get disappointed, and then I'm going to feel bad because we didn't service your request as we should have, and all of those things. And the same will go for you, Leah. Like a lot of people just start reaching out to you personally, and while we kind of don't mind, it's not too much of a hassle, but we need to get to this point where like there's clear channels of communication and you're enjoying your rest time, and if you're away on holidays in Mullaney in the hills and enjoying a nice weekend away and you're about to just take a sip of your first wine, you don't want a message about, hey, what's the programming on Monday? Shit, I want to just relax, Yeah,
I hear you. Yeah, so there are definitely portals that we encourage you guys to use if you can try and steer clear of using our personal accounts.
But if it's a friend...
Totally.
And it's nothing to do with the gym.
Oh, please.
Send us all your funny videos and all that sort of stuff.
Please.
Like whatever, don't, that's not what we're saying. It's just for, if you think it's got anything to do with the gym or your membership or training or whatever, go through the email.
Yeah, love it. Yeah. And what about people sort of saying things to you in passing in the gym? How do you feel about that if they say, oh,
Depends
can I pause for a week? Yeah, totally.
Oh, right. Like, okay. Talking about like, yeah, okay. I can't even give an example, but you can say it, but I'll tell you now what I will tell you and what all the coaches have been told to tell you.
Yeah.
And that is, we can do it, put it in writing, or maybe we can't, depending what the request is exactly, but put it in writing, in email to ...
Yes.
Whatever our coaches will know, oh, that's a Leah thing. Or maybe that's a Leah thing who might shoot it then to Rob, or maybe that might be just a direct thing to Dale or Belle, or, oh, hey, Belle, you mentioned a website this morning that might be good for looking at different ways to scale once you've had surgery on your shoulder. oh yeah, can you send me the link? And if you email Leah or Belle about that, maybe that's fine.
Yep.
But yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Awesome. Is there anything else you want to sort of bring up around our members, our member experience, coaches, same realm?
No, I just don't want it to be negative because
Sure.
coaching is really rewarding and fun and great.
Yeah.
Yes, you have to get up early in the morning at some point if you want to be a successful coach, but that's just what we do.
Yeah.
And sometimes you're going to have to work late. And that's the small price we pay for being in a fun environment and having a good time and working on, I guess, our craft. And just, I guess, also rest assured that, you know, most of the team, actually all of the team we have now and all of the time, we're always trying to deliver the best service and improve as athletes and coaches. We're all working hard to train hard. We're all that, you know, that's part of the requirement. If any of our coaching team is like slacking off and just eating pies and not training, then we need to question why they're being a coach. So I guess that's probably another little tangent that, you know, everyone's seen the personal trainer that's out of shape. And there's a lot of like, give everyone a go, you know, and it's like, cool, I get it. I absolutely get it. If that personal trainer is out of shape, in 6 months, they shouldn't be out of shape.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's then going to motivate clients, and that's fine. If that personal trainer's been out of shape for 3 years, don't go and see them.
Yeah.
Like they're not going to help you.
Yeah.
Because they're not doing what they're going to ask you to do.
That's right.
Or they're going to tell you to do what they're doing, and you're going to end up like them.
Yeah.
So, you know, bit of a side tangent, but yeah, all of our coaches are engaged in the process. They believe in CrossFit. They believe in the methodology.
Yeah.
They're training. We don't expect anyone to be training to compete. Maybe the sport of CrossFit's not your thing anymore, or it never was, and that's okay. But so long as you're practicing what we preach, and you're eating well, and you're being healthy, and you're training, you know, 4 times a week, and you're moving your body, and you're following your own scaling and you know, guidelines that you would provide an athlete, perfect.
Yeah.
You know, that's I guess all we can ask. So, yeah, you know, when you look at the service we provide or may not provide, you know, if it ever any of our members get to a point where you think, geez, you know, I don't think I got the value for what I paid for that.
Yeah.
We need to know about that.
That's right.
And you need to talk to us and say, hey, I feel like you know, I paid too much for XYZ because ... And then we need to fix that issue, whatever that is, with a trainer or a session or a whatever. You know, we need to be able to get to the bottom of that. And also, you know, the other thing is, I don't want anyone to be offended by the prices that we ask for, especially for PT. Like, not everyone can afford personal training. Like, it is an expense, and it kind of is what it is. And not everyone can afford to go to the physio, and not everyone can afford to drive a Lamborghini. You know, like, there's certain price points that everyone can come in at, and maybe you're at the top of your budget, and that's okay. But we can't, you know, like, Lamborghini, no matter how much you want one, don't go, look, I know you really, really want this. We'll give it to you for half price, right? And that happens a lot in the PT industry because most PTs just really want to help people, but then they end up getting burnt out because they end up making $3 an hour for 50 hours a week, and they can't survive, and they're cooked, and then they got no energy for anyone, never mind their own life. So it's okay. Like, if you can't, you know, if you have other financial commitments in your life that mean you can't do PT, so be it. Don't do it. That's fine. Like, we'll give you all the advice we can with the time we have, and we'll call it good. If, you know, and that's fine. If that PT is the biggest priority in your life, you'll find a way to pay for it. And that's, you know, not that it's exorbitant, you know, what we're asking. What we, you know, where we're at with our PT is pretty much on market, or actually less than what you would charge at without mentioning any companies, a big franchise gym.
Yeah.
So, you know, we're on those lines, but whether it's here or at a franchise gym or no matter where you go, personal training is the highest value service you can get because it's all about you.
Yeah.
And then that's why our group training is priced at what it is. And that's why 24-hour fitness is priced at what it is. So, you know, people come in at all different levels and they get all different value service for that, you know. And if all you need is access to a 24/7 gym, then you just pay $15 a week. If you enjoy CrossFit classes and coaching, then it costs, you know, up to $60 a week. And if you want PT, then depending on who it's with and how long, it's up to $150 a session. So, you know, it really depends who you're with, when, you know, all of those different things.
That's right.
Yeah. And I guess nutrition coaching goes into that same basket as well, you know, except the other side of that is, you know, our little machine that we got sitting in the office here and that we lock up securely at night with a video camera on it it's a $30,000 investment, right? So at $30 a scan, we need to, I don't know how many, 10,000 scans that we need to do to be able to cover those costs. So, you know, it's not, sometimes business isn't cheap, and that's up to us to decide, right? Like, we've got to decide whether the investment in that machine is worth the return on the investment that we're going to get once we've covered the cost of the machine. Much like anyone that gets a scan has got to decide whether their $35 that they pay for the scan is worth the investment that they're going to put forward for the service they're going to get out of that. So it's a choice for everyone. And all I'm trying to say is, you know, we just need to price our services somewhere that's going to absolutely cover our costs and hopefully make our trainers some money so that they can continue to provide the excellent service that they do. You know, because what generally happens with CrossFit coaches and or personal trainers, if they last more than 6 months, is at a certain point they finish university, they either want to have a family or go into, you know, buy a house, or they mature, they get older.
That's right.
And as you get older, anyone that is older will know that you get increased costs with the social life that you live, right? So as you get older, you want to live in a bit more comfortable house. You don't want to flat share with 5 other guys anymore. I'm not sure your wife and kids would enjoy that, right? So then you get these more costs, and then maybe if you have a family, you get the costs of raising the kids. And all of these expenses continually go up. If, as personal trainers, we don't have a way of developing our coaches to increase their income and provide an amazing experience for people, then they fall off and they look for something secure that's going to be able to pay their mortgage. They don't have to worry. They don't have to stress about whether their clients are going to show up or whether they're going to get the coaching hours. So it's quite challenging from a business owner's point of view to be able to provide that career progression, but it's something we're definitely driven to work on. So, you know, keep all of those things in mind every time you might think, oh, I want a discount on this or I want a discount on that. You're really asking, you know, to reduce the ability for that trainer or coach to be able to continue their job for long term. And which kind of sucks, but that's what we're trying to change. So being able to have those coaches, you know, Bell, Dale, who are, you know, any of the coaches we got can then work and live a comfortable life. You know, personal train. You know, if you think about your circles of friends, and you know, we're very fortunate in this area in Bulimba, right? There's a lot of professionals. People run in some really, I guess, big circles of wealthy people, which is great. And I'm sure they've all worked extremely hard to get where they've got. You know, I'm not begrudging any of those guys, but none of them are personal trainers. You know what I mean? Like if you think of all your wealthiest mates, none of them are PTs or coaches, right? And we're not, you know, as a personal trainer, if you go into it thinking, I want to be a millionaire, then you're a madman, or you're you're famous on Instagram or something like that. That's the only way that sort of high end wealth's going to come in from coaching.
Yeah.
So we just want to get our coaches to a comfortable level where they're not stressing about money and whether they can pay their mortgage or look after their family. And I think that's pretty damn fair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's amazing. What a
Cool.
tragedy it is when a coach falls off the wagon for the reasons you just stated. You know, a
Yeah.
coach who's so committed and so passionate, who has to feels the need to stop because they just can't support their family. I think that's just so sad. So I love what you're doing.
Yeah. Well, there's a number of levels to it, right? Like someone that is really, really passionate and hardworking might stick it out, and they're probably the ones that are going to last and find a way to make it work.
They're the 10%.
They're the 10%. The
That's
people that unfortunately come into it thinking, I'm going to make a quick buck because I'm going to charge $120 for an hour session. If I do 10 sessions a week, that's $1,200. I'm laughing. But what they don't take into account is, one, you're not going to be able to charge that straight away because you've got no experience other than an online Cert 4. Two, you've got to pay for either rent at a facility or you've got to buy the equipment yourself. So, you've got all these different costs and insurance and all these things that people don't see. And then they realize they end up charging, just to get some clients to start with, $40 a session, and they've got to do 5 or 6 or 7 sessions just to pay their rent on the gym. So they're working 7 hours for nothing, and then they got to try and start making some money. They do another 10 sessions and they make $400 for the week, and then they got to buy some new shoes and pay for their uniforms. So it's sad, but people come into it with, I guess, the wrong expectations.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, you're feeling like shit because you're stressed about money. And then you're getting up at 4 a.m. for the 60th day in a row. And it's like, I'm done, and that's kind of what happens. But it is pretty sad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I suppose just to wrap it up, we really just wanted to be transparent behind our intentions as coaches and as a gym and as a group of staff. About what it is that we want to do here and where we're taking it and why we do what we do. So hopefully this has been educational to some degree.
Yeah, and not too negative. It's fun. Yeah. I love coaching, and all of our coaches love it.
Yeah.
So, we just kind of like explain what a bit of a coach's life, I guess, and give you an insight into how it can unfold.
Yeah. I think you did a pretty good job at that. But if anybody has any questions, please sing out. We'd love to
you hate me, I'm sorry.
No one's going to hate you.
No, but just don't want it to come across negative.
No, it won't. Yeah. And on a funny note, I love that Visaya comes in and just drops the term sleep hygiene into sentences, which is based on the book that we've been reading, which we recommend.
I like the term.
Yeah.
Because
Rob says
let's explain.
sleep
Well,
hygiene.
You've been reading the book. Let's talk about what sleep hygiene is to you, Leah. If I was to say, how's your sleep hygiene?
I would consider screen time before bed, including TV, phone, iPad, whatever, I guess my routine before I go to sleep.
Yep.
How dim is my bedroom? All that stuff.
What about like during when you're asleep? Like,
I don't know.
Like temperature.
I think pre-sleep, yeah.
What are some? Let's talk about. We'll probably come back on this book, but let's talk about like. I'm putting you right on the spot now. So if you haven't been doing your homework, you're in trouble. Give me the 5.
I already can't.
Give me 3 reasons why sleep is important.
Ooh. Your circadian rhythm. I'm just going to throw that out there.
Let's talk broad term that no one knows what a circadian rhythm is. Mm-hmm. Give me 3 reasons why. What's going to make me better by sleeping better, or
your health, your energy.
Yep.
Your nutrition. It's all going to stem from good sleep.
Okay. So so my nutrition will improve. I assume you talk about...
You're making better food choices.
Making better decisions because I'm not fatigued.
Correct.
Okay.
That's a thing.
What else did you say? My health?
Yeah. Overall health.
That's because of nutrition, and what else? Like, I'm just going to feel better. What? Is there anything else? It's like...
diseases and stuff can come from lack of sleep.
Okay. Cool. So... I'm not going to put you on the spot too much about explaining the book into that detail further.
I haven't finished the book yet.
Okay,
I've
so
still
there's
got a
health.
bit of time.
Man, I got a memory like an elephant. What did we say? Nutrition, health, and then what was the third one?
Energy.
Energy. Cool. All right, now, what's your 5 tips for getting a better night's sleep?
Reduce your screen time before bed.
Yep. How long am I turning off the phone before?
I'd say at least an hour, if not up to 2 hours.
Okay, cool.
Is that right?
That's not
You
what I
gave
tell
me a
people.
look.
That's not what I tell people.
What do
but
you tell
it's
people?
right. At least 2 hours.
At least 2 hours.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, so that's one. Turn screens off.
Yeah. Put your bedroom on a comfortable lighting. So dim your lights or turn off your lights. Flick on a lamp.
Oh, yep, cool. That's 2.
Make sure it's a comfortable temperature.
Oh, yeah.
Don't want to be
Do you-
too cold or too hot.
Do you know what the ideal temp is?
I did read this, but I forget.
It'll surprise you.
Yeah, it's colder than I think.
It's freezing.
Yeah.
It's like 16 to 20 degrees.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
I would have said about 22, but that's okay.
Okay. Cold. You should have a cold bedroom.
I'm not sleeping at 16 degrees for the
Okay.
record. That's freezing. What are we? 2 more
2 more.
to help me get a good night's sleep.
So you got turn the screens off, dim the lights, cold bedroom.
Look, honestly, for me, as soon as I hit the pillow, I'm out like a light. So I feel like I don't need this routine.
No, but we're giving people advice. Like,
Yeah.
what else can they do?
I think giving yourself some time between dinner and going to bed. So
Oh, yeah.
let your body metabolize your dinner. a
Perfect.
little
Don't
bit.
eat too late.
Don't eat too late.
That's good. What's one other thing that a lot of us
Caffeine
do?
after midday.
Oh.
That's what you're waiting for. Yes, no caffeine after midday. There's
Perfect.
an afterlife in caffeine.
Yeah. What is it?
20-something hours.
It's got a half-life of 8 hours.
Okay,
Well,
great.
it depends, actually. It's independently variable depending on the person. So some people might be able to metabolize coffee in 4 hours, and some might take up to 12.
Yeah.
That's the half-life, right?
Gotcha.
So if I have 120 milligrams of coffee now, in 8 hours, I'm still going to have 60 milligrams of coffee in my system.
Yeah.
And that's going to prevent you sleeping.
Wow,
well.
I did a great job at that test.
Oh, that's good. You got it. You're put on the spot. We didn't talk about any of this, by the way, before the podcast. So Leah was
Yeah.
very much put
But
on
I
the
am
spot.
enjoying the book.
Yeah,
I am
excellent.
thoroughly enjoying the book. Yeah, there's a lot to it. I haven't finished it yet, but I
Well,
do recommend the book already.
We might do we'll do another podcast, even though we told you all the things you need to do to get good sleep. But we'll review the book and maybe do a bit of a podcast on it.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
And I'll know all of those answers by
Cool.
then.
Bottom line is, if you're not sleeping, it's detrimental to your health.
It is.
It's in line with the importance of nutrition. So,
Yep.
or even more. So, sleep's at the bottom of the pyramid. Make sure you get it.
Yeah.
All right.
Awesome.
We've probably put you to sleep if you've been listening long
If you're
enough.
Still here. Yeah. Thank
All
you
right.
for listening.
Excellent.
We'll catch you next week.
Thanks, guys. Bye.